My name is Lisa Martinez. I'm 34 years old, and I thought family meant dropping everything to support each other during crisis, until my sister looked at her phone and said, "Lisa's always so dramatic about money." What happened next proved that while I was crying in a hospital waiting room, praying my 8-year-old son would survive emergency surgery, my family was more concerned about who would pay for their vacation dinner. Before I tell you how one text message revealed the true character of people I'd supported for years, and how a surgeon's words exposed just how close I came to losing everything that mattered, I'd love to know where you're watching from. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you want to hear how 4 words, "Your son almost died," silenced an entire family and made them realize they had asked for money while a child fought for his life. Let me take you back to where this story really begins. I've been a single mother for 6 years, ever since my ex-husband Carlos walked out on our family when our son Miguel was just 2 years old. Carlos decided that fatherhood was too much responsibility and moved across the country to start fresh, leaving Miguel and me to build a life together. Being a single mom wasn't the life I had planned, but Miguel and I created something beautiful together. I worked as a medical billing specialist at a pediatric clinic, which gave me good health insurance and the flexibility to be present for Miguel's school events and activities. Miguel was an amazing kid, bright, funny, athletic, and the absolute center of my world. He played Little League baseball, loved math puzzles, and had a smile that could light up any room. Every sacrifice I made as a single mother felt worth it when I saw Miguel's joy and enthusiasm for life. My family, my parents, my sister Carmen, and my brother Diego had always been close and supportive. When Carlos left, they rallied around Miguel and me, helping with childcare, attending Miguel's games, and making sure we felt loved and supported during the difficult transition. Carmen, who was 29 and worked in marketing, lived about 20 minutes away with her husband Rick. They didn't have children yet, but were always generous with their time and attention toward Miguel. Carmen often joked that she got all the fun of being an aunt without the responsibility of parenthood. Diego, 31, was married to Jennifer and they had 2 young daughters. Diego worked in construction and Jennifer was a nurse, and they understood the challenges of balancing work and family life. Their daughters, ages 5 and 7, adored their cousin Miguel and loved having him around during family gatherings. My parents, Roberto and Maria, were in their early 60s and had worked hard their entire lives to provide for our family. Dad was a mechanic who owned a small auto repair shop, and Mom had worked various jobs over the years to help support the family. They were incredibly devoted grandparents who babysat Miguel regularly and never missed his baseball games. As a family, we gathered every Sunday for dinner at my parents' house, a tradition that had continued even after Carlos left. These dinners were the highlight of Miguel's week. He loved being surrounded by his extended family, playing with his cousins, and feeling like he was part of something bigger than just our little household of 2. Our family also had a tradition of taking a group vacation together every summer. For the past 5 years, we had rented a large beach house for a week, splitting the costs among the adults and creating wonderful memories for all the children. This year's vacation was planned for the last week of July. We had reserved a beautiful house in San Diego with enough bedrooms for everyone, and Miguel had been counting down the days for months. He was especially excited because this would be the first year he was old enough to try surfing lessons. 3 days before we were supposed to leave for our vacation, everything changed. Miguel had been complaining of stomach pain for 2 days, but it seemed minor, the kind of thing kids often experience from eating too much or running around after meals. He was still playing, eating normally, and showing no signs of serious illness. But on Wednesday evening, July 24th, Miguel's pain suddenly became severe. He was doubled over, crying, and couldn't find any position that brought relief. His forehead was hot to the touch, and he was becoming increasingly pale and listless. "Mommy, my stomach hurts so bad," he whispered, tears streaming down his face. "It feels like something is trying to get out." As someone who worked in a medical clinic, I knew that sudden, severe abdominal pain in children could be serious. I called Miguel's pediatrician, Dr. Sarah Chen, who told me to bring him to the emergency room immediately. "Lisa, based on what you're describing, Miguel needs to be evaluated right away," Dr. Chen said. "Don't wait until morning. Take him to Children's Hospital Emergency Department now." I threw together a quick bag with snacks and entertainment for what I hoped would be a few hours in the emergency room, and we rushed to the hospital. The emergency room at Children's Hospital was busy, but the triage nurse took one look at Miguel's condition and moved us quickly into an examination room. Dr. James Morrison, the emergency physician, examined Miguel thoroughly and immediately ordered blood tests and imaging studies. "Mrs. Martinez," Dr. Morrison said after reviewing Miguel's test results, "Miguel has acute appendicitis, and it appears his appendix may have already ruptured. We need to get him into surgery immediately." The words hit me like a physical blow. Ruptured appendix. Emergency surgery. My 8-year-old son's life was suddenly in danger. "Is he going to be okay?" I asked, trying to keep the panic out of my voice for Miguel's sake. Appendectomies are routine surgeries, but when the appendix has ruptured, it becomes more complex. Dr. Morrison explained. "Miguel will need immediate surgery to remove the appendix and clean out any infection. The pediatric surgeon is being called in now." Within an hour, Miguel was being prepped for emergency surgery. The pediatric surgeon, Dr. Elizabeth Rodriguez, explained the procedure and the risks. "Miguel's appendix has definitely ruptured, which means infection has spread into his abdominal cavity," she explained. "We'll need to remove the appendix and thoroughly irrigate the area to prevent further complications. The surgery should take 2-3 hours." I kissed Miguel's forehead as they wheeled him into the operating room at 11:47 p.m., and then I found myself alone in the surgical waiting room, terrified and praying for my son's life. The first thing I did was call my family to let them know what was happening. My parents were horrified and immediately offered to come to the hospital. "We'll be there in 30 minutes, Mom said. "Miguel is going to be fine, mija. He's strong." I also called Carmen and Diego, both of whom expressed shock and concern. "Oh my God, Lisa," Carmen said. "Is he going to be okay? Do you need us to come to the hospital?" "The surgeon said it's serious because his appendix ruptured," I explained. "I don't know how long the surgery will take. You don't need to come tonight, but I wanted you to know what was happening." "We'll come first thing in the morning," Diego promised. "Miguel's tough. He's going to get through this." My parents arrived at the hospital around 12:30 a.m. and stayed with me throughout the night, providing comfort and moral support during the most frightening hours of my life. At 2:45 a.m., Dr. Rodriguez emerged from the operating room with an update. "The surgery is going well," she reported. Miguel's appendix had indeed ruptured, and there was more infection than we initially expected. "We're taking extra time to make sure we clean everything thoroughly. He should be out of surgery within the hour." I felt relief mixed with continued anxiety. Miguel was surviving the surgery, but the complications meant he would need several days in the hospital for antibiotic treatment and recovery monitoring. Miguel came out of surgery at 3:30 a.m., groggy but stable. Seeing him with all the tubes and monitors was heartbreaking, but Dr. Rodriguez assured me that everything had gone well. "Miguel is going to be fine," she said. "The surgery was successful, and we removed all the infected tissue. He'll need to stay in the hospital for 4 or 5 days for IV antibiotics, but he should make a complete recovery." By 6 a.m., Miguel was settled in his hospital room, still sleeping off the anesthesia. My parents had gone home to get some rest and shower, planning to return later in the morning. That's when I remembered our family vacation was supposed to start in 3 days. Obviously, Miguel and I wouldn't be able to go, but I needed to let everyone know so they could adjust their plans. I sent a text to the family group chat that included my parents, Carmen, Diego, and their spouses. "Update on Miguel. Surgery went well, but he'll be in hospital for 4 or 5 days recovering. Obviously, we won't be able to make the San Diego trip. So sorry to mess up everyone's vacation plans." The responses came quickly. "Mom, don't worry about the vacation, mija. Miguel's health is what matters. We'll stay here to help you." Diego, "Forget about the vacation. We'll be there later today to visit Miguel." Carmen, "Poor Miguel. Don't worry about San Diego. We can plan another trip when he's better." I felt grateful for my family's support and understanding. Canceling the vacation was disappointing, but Miguel's health was obviously the priority. But around 10 a.m., I started receiving different messages in the family chat that confused me. Carmen, "Actually, maybe the rest of us should still go to San Diego since the house is already paid for. It seems wasteful to cancel when Lisa and Miguel can't use it anyway." Rick, Carmen's husband, the rental is non-refundable, so we'd lose the money if we don't go. Maybe we should still take the trip. I guess that makes sense. The kids were really looking forward to it. My parents were less enthusiastic but seemed to be considering the idea. Dad, I don't feel right going on vacation while Miguel is in the hospital. Carmen. But sitting in the hospital won't help Miguel get better faster. Lisa has everything under control, and we could still come back early if needed. Over the next few hours, my family convinced themselves that going on vacation without Miguel and me was not only acceptable but practical. The vacation house was paid for, the kids would be disappointed to miss it, and Miguel would be in the hospital most of the time anyway. By evening, they had decided to leave for San Diego the next morning as originally planned. I felt hurt and abandoned, but I tried to understand their reasoning. The vacation was expensive, Miguel was stable, and maybe they deserved a break after the stress of the emergency. Have a good time, I texted the family chat. Miguel and I will be fine here. Carmen, we'll be thinking of you. Take lots of pictures of Miguel when he's feeling better. Diego, we'll bring Miguel back something special from San Diego. Mom, are you sure you'll be okay? I feel guilty leaving you. Dad, we can stay if you need us, mija. Go and enjoy yourselves, I replied. Miguel is going to be fine, and there's nothing you can do here anyway. But privately, I felt very alone. My son had just undergone emergency surgery for a life-threatening condition, and my entire family was going on vacation without us. The next morning, Thursday, Miguel was awake and feeling much better. The surgery had been successful, and he was starting to eat small amounts of clear liquids. The nurses were optimistic about his recovery progress. My family left for San Diego that afternoon, sending cheerful messages about their drive and arrival at the beach house. I tried to be happy for them, but it stung to see vacation photos in our family chat while Miguel and I were stuck in a hospital room. Friday was Miguel's second day post-surgery, and he was making excellent progress. He was sitting up, walking short distances, and his infection markers were improving. Dr. Rodriguez was pleased with his recovery and predicted he would be ready to go home by Sunday. That evening, around 6 p.m., I received a text message that changed everything I thought I knew about my family. The message was from Carmen, sent to the family group chat. Hey everyone, we're at this amazing seafood restaurant overlooking the ocean. The meal is going to be about $200 total. Can someone Venmo me their share? Lisa, can you send 50 since you and Miguel would have been here too? I stared at my phone in disbelief. My family was asking me to pay for their vacation dinner while I sat in a hospital room with my recovering son. Before I could respond, more messages appeared. Rick, the food here is incredible. Worth every penny. Diego, great choice for dinner. I'll Venmo Carmen tomorrow. Jennifer, the kids love the ocean view. Perfect spot. And then came the message that shattered my heart. Carmen, Lisa's always so dramatic about money. I'm sure she can afford 50 for a family dinner, even if she's not here. She had meant to send that message privately to someone, but she had accidentally posted it to the family group chat where everyone could see it, including me. Lisa's always so dramatic about money. I was sitting in a hospital room, where I had been for 3 days, watching my son recover from emergency surgery that could have killed him, and my sister was calling me dramatic about money while asking me to pay for their vacation dinner. The casual cruelty of it was breathtaking. Not only were they enjoying a vacation while my son recovered from surgery, but they expected me to contribute financially to their fun while I was dealing with mounting hospital bills and missed work. The family chat went silent after Carmen's accidental message was posted. Everyone had seen it, and no one knew how to respond. I was shaking with anger and hurt, but before I could type a response, Dr. Rodriguez appeared in Miguel's room for her evening rounds. How's our patient doing? She asked cheerfully, examining Miguel's incision and checking his vital signs. Much better, I replied, trying to compose myself. When do you think he'll be ready to go home? His recovery has been excellent, Dr. Rodriguez said. If he continues progressing like this, he should be able to go home Sunday morning. Then she paused and looked at me more seriously. Mrs. Martinez, I want you to understand how fortunate you are that you brought Miguel in when you did. His appendix had been ruptured for several hours by the time we got him into surgery. I felt my blood run cold. What does that mean? It means that if you had waited even a few more hours to bring him to the hospital, Miguel could have developed sepsis or other life-threatening complications. Your quick action and good instincts literally saved his life. The words hit me like a physical blow. Miguel could have died. My son almost died. You mean if I had waited until morning or thought it was just a stomachache? I couldn't finish the question. Miguel could have been in serious trouble, doctor. Rodriguez confirmed. Ruptured appendix with delayed treatment can be fatal, especially in children. You saved your son's life by trusting your instincts and bringing him in immediately. After Dr. Rodriguez left, I sat next to Miguel's bed, watching him sleep peacefully, and processed what I had just learned. My son had almost died. We had come within hours of a tragedy that would have destroyed my world. And while this medical crisis was unfolding, while Miguel was fighting for his life in surgery, my family was planning their vacation and asking me to pay for their dinner. That's when I picked up my phone and responded to the family group chat. I just spoke with Miguel's surgeon. She told me that Miguel almost died. His appendix had been ruptured for hours by the time we got to the hospital. If I had waited even a few more hours to bring him in, he could have died from sepsis. I paused, gathering my thoughts and my courage. While my 8-year-old son was fighting for his life in emergency surgery, you were all planning your vacation. And now you're asking me to pay for your dinner while I sit in a hospital room, grateful that my child is alive. The family chat went completely silent. I continued. Carmen, you're right that I'm dramatic about money. I'm dramatic about money because I'm a single mother who works hard to provide for my son. I'm dramatic about money because I just received a hospital bill for $23,000 for Miguel's surgery. I'm dramatic about money because I missed 3 days of work and won't get paid for the time I spent making sure my son didn't die. Still no response from anyone. But you know what I'm not dramatic about? I'm not dramatic about asking my family to pay for my vacation dinner while their nephew recovers from life-saving surgery. My phone started ringing immediately. It was Carmen. Lisa, I'm so sorry, she said, crying. That message wasn't supposed to go to the group chat. I was texting Rick privately. The problem isn't that I saw the message, I replied. The problem is that you were thinking it. I didn't know Miguel almost died, Carmen said. You said the surgery went well. The surgery did go well, I explained. But that doesn't mean it wasn't life-threatening. Miguel could have died, Carmen. Your nephew could have died while you were planning your vacation. Carmen was sobbing now. Lisa, I feel terrible. We didn't understand how serious it was. You didn't understand because you didn't want to understand, I said. You wanted to go on vacation, so you convinced yourselves that Miguel's emergency surgery was no big deal. My parents called next, both of them crying and apologetic. Mija, we're coming home right now, Mom said. We should never have left you and Miguel alone. We feel horrible, Dad added. When we heard that Miguel almost died, we realized how selfish we've been. Diego called an hour later, his voice full of shame and regret. Lisa, I can't believe we left you alone during this. Miguel is like a son to me, and I abandoned you when you needed family the most. The apologies continued throughout the evening, but the damage was done. I had learned something fundamental about my family's priorities, and that knowledge couldn't be unseen. My family cut their vacation short and returned home Saturday evening. They came to the hospital Sunday morning when Miguel was discharged, bringing flowers, gifts, and endless apologies. But Miguel noticed the tension immediately. Mommy, why does everyone seem sad? He asked as we drove home from the hospital. Are they sad because I was sick? They're sad because they made some mistakes while you were in the hospital, I explained honestly. Sometimes adults don't make good choices, even when they love each other. Miguel thought about this seriously. Like when I chose to play video games instead of doing homework. And you were disappointed? Something like that, I said. But your family still loves you, even when they make bad choices. Over the following weeks, my family tried to make amends. Carmen paid my entire hospital bill without being asked. Diego and Jennifer took Miguel on special outings to make up for missing time during his surgery. My parents became even more attentive and supportive than they had been before. But the fundamental trust had been broken. I had learned that when faced with a choice between my son's medical crisis and their vacation plans, my family had chosen the vacation. When asked to support us during the most frightening experience of my life, they had asked me to support their dinner plans instead. The most painful part wasn't the money, it was the casual dismissal of my fears and struggles as dramatic. As a single mother, I dealt with financial stress and worry every day, and my family's response was to mock my concerns while asking for my money. 6 months later, Miguel has made a complete recovery and is back to playing baseball and acing his math tests. The surgery left a small scar on his abdomen, but no lasting health effects. My relationship with my family has slowly healed, but it's different now. I still attend Sunday dinners and participate in family events, but I maintain emotional boundaries that didn't exist before Miguel's surgery. I learned that some people will prioritize their comfort over your crisis, their vacation over your emergency, their dinner over your desperation. But I also learned that crisis reveals character, both the ugly truth about people's priorities and the beautiful truth about your own strength. The woman who sat alone in a hospital waiting room while her son fought for his life learned that she was stronger than she knew, and that her instincts as a mother were more reliable than her faith in family support. Miguel and I have built an even closer relationship through this experience. He understands now that it's just the two of us against the world sometimes, and that's okay. We take care of each other, and that's enough. The family that asked me to pay for their vacation dinner while my son recovered from life-saving surgery learned that some requests reveal more about your character than any answer ever could. And Miguel learned that his mother will always choose him first, no matter what anyone else thinks of that choice. Have you ever had family prioritize their comfort over your crisis? How do you maintain relationships with people who have shown you their true priorities? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life stories about single motherhood, family boundaries, and learning who you can truly count on when everything is on the line.